Hi, my name is Dominique Duarte. Welcome to Southern Girl in the City. I'm a singer actor currently living in Brooklyn, New York. Um, so this week will be an interesting week coming up. I'm going to be 35 on Wednesday. I can't believe that I'm going to be 35. That's crazy. But I'm going to be 35 years old. Um, Basically, halfway through the 30s already. I can't believe that. I feel like time just goes so fast. My 20s just were gone, and now the 30s, I feel like went even faster. Um, as I approach 35, I'm trying to reflect. And I think in the past year, I've probably made the most growth when it comes to financially as well as with relationships, not necessarily like just trying to have more of a community and working more on that. I have always kind of been a loner. I was a loner probably since I was a child. I definitely always had friends. I still have friends, but I was never that person who had a whole group of people around me. That was just not it. Um, in New York City, it's been really challenging to find a community. I think because everyone's working all the time, everyone's grinding all the time. I usually end up living with roommates who I didn't know prior to living with them. So, we're roommates, but we've never been close in that way. None of my roommates and I have. We've never hung out. So it can be quite lonely, but to be honest, I was lonely in Tennessee. I never really had a ton of people I hung out with. Um, I did a little bit when I was in shows, like if I was in a musical or play, I would have more people that I'd hang out with after the show. But most of the time, if I wasn't in a musical or I wasn't in a play, I just never had community. And I think some of the reason I really love performing is because I had a community for even if it was for a short period. Um, the first community I feel like I really had was when I was in my last couple of years in high school. I was in production, and then college I had a community, and then as an adult, anytime I've been in a production or anytime like when I was on tour last year, for that short period, I had a community. But on the regular, it's just challenging. I just I don't know. I don't know. Like it seems like some people just have 5 million friends, and they always did. Like they just always have all these people gravitating to them, and it's the thing is like I have really interesting conversations with people. I think people really genuinely like me, but I also don't know if it's because I'm kind of a people pleaser and I'm trying to not be a people pleaser, but it's not easy. I said earlier this week I had people pleaseritis, and I just, I'm trying not to be, but it's hard because if you've been doing something for so long, it's just really hard to fix it or change it. It's not impossible, but as a human, you go back to what you know. And I think I still try to be a people pleaser. And it's hard not to. Um, I just I'm still trying to find my voice, and I still think this year I probably have found it the most. But there definitely have been consequences for finding my voice. Part of the reason I think what happened in September with my job was because I said something. Um, I think I'm learning how to speak up more. But what I didn't learn is, I guess, that speaking up is not always going to work in your favor, which is probably why a lot of people don't speak up. Um, Speaking up is hard. Um, it is. but I'm trying to be more transparent. I'm trying to be more honest. I mean, I don't think I was ever lying, but just I think sometimes I didn't always want to share things because I didn't want to feel like I was being negative or I was being a burden on other people. That's one of my biggest fears, is being a burden on others. And I think sometimes I'm trying so hard not to be a burden that sometimes maybe I'm really distant emotionally. Like I've tried going on dates and things, but it's just, I don't know. I was talking to this person for about a month, kind of, but then we went on one date and we were going to go on another date, but then the person canceled, and then, um, like he never followed up about, he would reach out to me, but never following up about that. Um, I don't really, I've been on dates, but I've never made it to second date with pretty much anyone. Um, it's like I will go on a date, we'll have a good conversation. Like many of people, I have many great conversations with people, but do they become my friend or my best friend afterwards? Not necessarily. Um, what I learned in dating is I think maybe people can tell that um, I'm not going to be so easy to um, get into, I guess, the bedroom. I think that people kind of pick up that vibe. And it's not even something that comes up on the date, to be honest. But I think people can just read. Um, I don't know. Um, because on the apps, they'll say that I'm very beautiful or I'm very attractive. But then when we meet in person, I mean, I don't look that much different than my picture. Actually, in that picture, the one that's my headshot, I actually have forgotten my makeup. I had forgotten the facial, the powder, like the foundation. So in the picture, the only thing is makeup is my lipstick. Everything else, that's my natural skin. So what you're seeing is what you get. A lot of the times, the hair that I'm wearing is similar to the one in the picture. So I'm not catfishing or anything. Um, but I think maybe when I'm on a date or I'm in the presence of males, I just think that I don't know, I guess they pick up the vibe, that I'm not going to be an easy nut to crack in that area. I mean, I've had guys where they'll ask for my number and then I give it to them and then we talk on the phone and they're trying to get to my home or they want me to come to their home and I'm just like, no. And I don't know, like, I guess for most men that's a deal breaker, but I'm just like, I don't want to just get in bed with anyone. Like, I can't do that, and I'm not saying that it's bad if that's what you do. I just know that I can't do that. Um, I wanted to say it was maybe because of my Christian beliefs, but I'm not even sure if that's completely it. I just think that it takes me a long time to trust and to build relationship with people, period. So I don't really think it's easy for me to try to be sexually active with someone that I don't know well. Um, so I've just, I'm 35. I'm going to be 35, and I haven't really been intimate with anyone really at all. And I just don't know. I would like to have a partner, but I also know how to be by myself because like I said, I've been a loner most of my adult life, well, most of my life. Um, so I know how to be by myself. Would it be nice to have a partner sometimes? Yes, because I feel like I'm trying to navigate everything by myself and it is a lot. Um, there's no one to pick up the slack. I'm pretty much doing everything on my own. I don't think I understood how challenging that aspect would be of doing everything on your own. I kind of figured I wasn't going to get married early in life. I kind of just knew that. I don't know why. I think mainly because my focus was my career. And at this point, I did think I'd be a little bit further along with the career. But I also think that those doors didn't quite open the way I thought they were because I probably wasn't ready for those things to happen in my life, emotionally. Um, because if you're getting instant success, I think that there's a lot that comes with that. And if I'm still struggling with people pleasing, I don't really think that was going to be working in my favor either. I don't know. I I know a lot of people don't really believe in using dating apps, particularly a lot of people of the older generation just meet people in person. But it's not that simple because in my adult life, most of the time I'm in predominantly white environments often. I'm also in predominantly female dominated careers. So a lot of the times I'm not around a lot of males. I haven't been around a lot of males in most of my life, to be honest. Um, so I do also struggle to connect with men. Like I just struggle because I don't really know them well. Like I didn't have brothers. I don't have close relationship with my uncles. I don't have close relationship with my male cousins. I just don't have a lot of experience being around males. Um, and then when I go on a date, it seems like we're having a good conversation, but then it just never amounts to anything afterwards. Um, and then a lot of the times I don't even make it to the first date if we're talking on the phone or we're doing the texting thing. Like I don't know. It's like I feel like I almost have to compromise, and I think it's interesting because a lot of the times people shame women for well, they shame women for a lot of things. But they shame women for being sexually promiscuous, or, not being more protective about, getting pregnant. And it's just like, there's a lot of pressure to have sex. Really, it is. There is a lot of pressure from men to have sex to the point where I'm kind of conflicted because it seems like men either they don't want you to be promiscuous, but then if you say you don't want to have sex, that's a deal breaker too. So I really don't know. And you could also say, well, maybe it's the type of men you're dating or going on dates with. And I'm like, well, I try to go on dates with men I think that are Christian, but sometimes I feel like the Christian men are just as promiscuous as the rest of the world. Um, And then there's also the Christian male who might be okay with waiting, but is also really so traditional that I don't know if they would be okay with me performing. I read two opera singers' biographies a while ago. I read Jesse Norman's biography, and then I also read Beverly Seal's biography. And I thought it was interesting because both of them had phenomenal careers in opera. But I thought it was interesting that Beverly Seals was married, and she had, I think, two kids. I think maybe one was adopted, but I can't remember. But she had a family while she was doing her career. Her very successful opera career. She was a mom. And then Jesse Norman, when I read her biography, I don't even remember if she ever mentioned really having a relationship. But she did talk about how people kind of feel bad for you if you hadn't been married or you hadn't had kids. And she said that she was content with that. can't say that I wouldn't be content with it, but it is challenging to be single your entire adult life. When I say single, I don't just mean, hey, I've never been married. I mean, hey, I've never had a boyfriend. So I've never been in a relationship. I've barely made it past date one. I just don't. I just have very little experience. And you could be like, well, put yourself out there. And I'm like, I've tried dating apps. I don't really know the answer here. It's funny because when I apply for jobs, I apply for hundreds of jobs. And that's how I was able to get jobs so quickly. So, I lost my job in September, and a week later I was offered a teaching assistant position. And I think the Friday that next Friday, that same week, 2 days later, I was hired at Tribeca Rooftop. Why did that happen? Because I applied for so many jobs. And I guess maybe dating is similar. I'm doing what a lot of people do with jobs, where they're like, oh, I applied for 2 jobs this week, or I applied for 20 jobs this month. And it's like, dude, you're not going to get a job if you're only applying for like 3 to 5 jobs like a week. It's a numbers game. You have to apply. And then you will get a job. But if you may not get the job, but you can get a job. I know the economy can be challenging, but it's just like, get a job. If it means working in customer service, just get a job. Because I was applying for both customer service and teacher's assistant positions so that I could have both. And I now work both jobs. So I think maybe with dating, I didn't do that. I did not do the numbers game. I do think that maybe I was being kind of lazy a lot of the times with it. No joke, I'll download an app and probably within a few days delete it. Download it, maybe keep it for a week, 2, delete it. I mean, that's been a consistent thing that I've done for years at this point. I might have gone on 1 date a year, and then sometimes not even that. So I don't know. And I mean, people always say put yourself out there, like that's something that people say all the time. And I'm like, I'm not great about putting myself out there with friendships. So it's like, how can I put myself out there? I mean, I'm living my life. I mean, I've been to different states. I've been to different places. I've performed in different cities. Like, I've been around. It's not like I'm living under a rock, but I don't even know what that means. Still, I really don't know. People will come up with an explanation, but it doesn't make any sense to me. Like, what does that even mean? Because most people, I think, meet their future wife or husband in school. Like, they usually meet them in college, or they meet them in high school. Or maybe they met in college and they didn't start dating until after college, like later on in life. That's what happened with my friend who got married last year. They had gone to college together, but then they didn't start dating until years after that. But most people seem to meet at school. So I'm like, did they put themselves out there? No, they went to the same school and they happened to be in the same circles. In the adult world, it is harder because you're working a job. Everybody's working. You all, and that's why a lot of the times they say don't fraternize at work, but it's like, where else are you going to meet someone? It's like most people meet at work or they meet at school. Maybe if you're going to clubs and stuff, maybe you would meet someone. But I don't really want to go to clubs. I don't really want to go to those things. I don't really think I would meet my future spouse there anyway. I don't know. I mean, at this point, most of my peers are married. And if they haven't been married, they've at least had a relationship. But, child, it ain't happening for your girl. I also wonder, do I still need to continue working on myself? I mean, I think that was part of the reason I wasn't dating, was because I was trying to work on myself. And I knew that I had a lot of work to do on myself. I think I still do. I'm learning to speak up more, but now I'm just trying to learn how to refine the speaking up part. Um, and I'm trying, and that's all I can do is try to be a good person and to be um, honest and have integrity, and that's what I try to do. But honesty and integrity doesn't necessarily make you an attractive partner. Like, I guess it does, but I think people are looking for physical attractiveness, and I don't think that I'm not. I just think that maybe I'm not everyone's cup of tea. Um, I don't really know. I don't really know what the answer is. Um, I definitely know that there are plenty of people who got married later in life. Um, I don't necessarily even know I want to be married immediately. It's not like that. I would definitely like to experience having a relationship so that I could um, have a partner. But I would eventually like to be married. But I know that nowadays a lot of people aren't really feeling the marriage thing. I feel like my generation is either one or the other. Either they're getting married out of college or they just don't want to get married at all. Um, it's just this part of me that feels like if I don't give it up in the bedroom, that I can't seem to find anyone, because I feel like most people, that is what they require. And you could say, well, it's because I live in New York, but I'm like, I lived in Tennessee, and I feel like it was a similar thing. um, I don't know. And then there would be men that I would, I'm usually attracted to like intelligence and ambition, and I would meet those men, but then they wouldn't be interested in me in that way, or they would already be with someone else who. So I'm just like, I don't really know. Um, I also know that not everyone is called to marriage, and I think that sometimes it's forgotten. But I do feel like as a single person, you are kind of left out of the societal pool in a way, because once you hit a certain age, because I think in your 20s it's more acceptable socially, I think, to be single. But when you get in your 30s and you're a woman, it is a little more challenging because people are like, what's wrong with you? You should, obviously there must be something wrong. And I'm like, I think for me, I have to have an emotional connection with someone, and that is not easy to do or have before I feel like I could be physically attracted. And I think that that is unusual. Um, I just can't get in I can't give it up to anyone, and everyone. Um, I don't know. Um, as I approach 35, it's just like, okay, you've been a single person your entire adult life. Obviously, you do know how to be by yourself because you've been by yourself. I pretty much walked alone for 35 years. I don't really know, I'm trying to work on it in therapy. Like, how can we build more community in my life? Like, I just don't know. I think, I've been meeting, I go to Fire Ensemble. I'm in the Fire Ensemble, this choir that meets every Mondays, and I haven't been going the last few weeks for multiple reasons. It's not because of the choir, it's just my life. Some of it's just being tired because I'm working both of my jobs pretty consistently. I'm working at Tribeca at least 2 or 3 days a week, in addition to working full time at the school. So yeah, I'm a little bit. worn out sometimes by Monday nights. But that is a community. Um, Maybe if I had clued into that community more, that would have been helpful. Um, there's the theater and the arts communities. Um, they're great as well. I mean, I was plugged into my church for a while, but then, with that, it just wasn't a good fit. I was there for 3 years, and once again, even in church, most of the time it's women. It's just women, women, women. Like, there's not a lot of males, and a lot of the males are older men. They're not my age range. Um, so I don't really know. I think that there's nothing wrong with being single. I don't mind it. I'm not like, woe is me, I'm single. But does it get challenging sometimes? Yes, because I have to step up in every single area of my life. And I have to make every single decision on my own without assistance. And it can be a lot. And I know that there's people who've gone through divorces, and I know there's people who've gone through breakups, but the fact is I've never gone through either. So like I haven't had any breakups. I haven't had any relationships. So I basically have been doing everything, every single decision in my adult life I pretty much have made on my own. Maybe I got advice from a friend, but for the most part, I'm doing everything by myself. Um, yes, New York can be lonely, but I think that a lot of single people, you do feel ostracized at a certain age because most people in their 30s have children and they are married. And it is really hard to connect with people who are married and who have kids when you don't, because they're on a different time schedule. They are, having a child is a full time job. In addition to the full time job, they're probably both already working. Um, I do notice with my friendships, it is harder to keep contact once they do have children. It just becomes harder. It's not impossible, but um, it's just more challenging because your schedule's not as predictable when you have a child. And then I also have learned that I think a lot of married women with children can be also very lonely, and I never realized. So I think that they also deal with loneliness. I think men also deal with it too because they may have the guys they watch football with, but are they talking about anything deeper? No. So I do think in some ways everyone is a little bit lonely. Um, I do think black women, really in particular, are just at a disadvantage when it comes to dating. Um, we are the least likely to be partnered up. And the black women that I do know who are married got married later, in their 30s. So I don't really know. I don't really know what the answer is. I just, it would be nice to split the responsibility sometimes. But at this point, I've done things on my own for so long that I don't even know if I would be able to receive the help, because I'm used to doing it this way, my way. I do think you get more set in your way as you get a little bit older. Um, it would definitely be helpful to split the financial responsibility because that is starting to become really challenging. Um, I would say in the last year, I'm starting to understand finances better, like understanding what my mistakes were, what I could have done better. Um, I finally had money in my savings this year, which was the first time in a really long time. I have money left over after my paychecks every time now. So I mean that's a step in the right direction because that wasn't the case before. Um, I'm learning how to budget my money on this Every Dollar app, so that's something. Um, I'm following the Dave Ramsey steps. I'm trying. I've been putting money towards my debt more this year than any other year. Um, so I don't know, building community in 2024 is just hard. Um, and it's hard to reach out to people because I don't want to burden them. And I think it just really is not that simple for someone who is used to being self sufficient, but also just doesn't want to be gossiped about or talked about negatively because I did something that they thought I shouldn't, or made a decision that maybe they wouldn't have made. And I don't know if I necessarily wanted everyone to know every detail. But I also feel like maybe having social media or having a YouTube channel can also maybe help build community. Um, Maybe single black women can band together, or even single people, period. Um, I was never that girl who like dreamed of their wedding day. It just never was me. Um, and I was never that girl who said I needed to be married by a certain age. No. I think for me, my career was my priority. Um, Mainly because I just struggle to connect with people on a deeper level and always have. And it's not like I don't have friendships, but it is really hard for me to connect with people on a deeper level. Um, However, yesterday I was invited to go out with the other teacher's assistants, which was really nice because a lot of my jobs I haven't hung out with people at work before. So it was nice to hang out with them, and they have a little bit of a community, which is nice. So we're getting somewhere. We're moving in the right direction. Um, but I do think there maybe needs to be more of a transparency about the loneliness of being an adult. Because I think maybe even if you are married, you can still feel loneliness. Because not everybody's partner is fulfilling that need either. And then just being a mom with children who is married is still got its own element of loneliness. I don't think our current society is really set up for us to really have a lot of community. And now, because of the political climate, a lot of people are cutting people off. Um, so I don't know. It just seems like there's a lot more division now, and it's just really hard to be in community. And I mean, I'm going to be 35, which I think will be, a good birthday. I'm going to be working, as always. Working as a teacher's assistant. Um, and I don't have to work my second job that day, so maybe I'll go out to dinner or something. Maybe I'll buy a book because I love to read. But I don't know. I'm pretty simple. I just not the person that goes out all the time, and maybe that's some of it. I'm kind of just I go to work and I go home. I go to work, I go home. I might have coffee with a friend here and there, but for the most part, I just go home. And I think I'm also just used to being at home, and I'm a homebody. Um, I don't know. Being in social settings can be anxiety inducing, which is interesting because I work in catering where there's like 400 or 500 people at the event. But I'm at work. I'm not fraternizing with them because I'm serving hors d'oeuvres or serving them food. So it's maybe a little different. But sometimes being at a party can be overwhelming. Uh, I don't know. I definitely have a little bit of social anxiety. It's not as much as I used to by any means. But I don't know. Some people just thrive in party environments, and I don't. It's like I just kind of shut down, especially when I don't know the people well. I'm not able to be my full self. And then maybe I also just know that there's certain people that I feel more comfortable around, and there's some people that I just don't. And I couldn't even tell you why. But then there's just some people where I'm like, I get a vibe, something's off, I'm not really sure what it is. Yeah, I don't know. So, I'll stop this at 35 minutes in 35, 11, 35, 12. I'll stop this at 35-minute-ish mark. And this has been Southern Girl in the City, and I hope you have a wonderful week. Bye.